Do you find any elements that I think artists who are women or identify as female may look out for specifically? And I ask that because I always think about some of my earlier experiences where people were just really like, oh, don't worry about the details, just do this. And I had the wherewithal, speaking about friends, we're not like in your personal space, but I think one time I reached out about music producer to Pressure and then Reginald Sinchi, because I was newer to the music stuff and I wanted to get a sense for what they were doing. And they were able to tell me, well, this is what professionals would do in this situation, right? So having people you trust, like apart from Google and the internet and copyright.gov and BMI guidelines and all these things, can leave your house key, your phone,
Mhm.
and your wallet
Yeah.
without wondering what will happen is so super important. But for people who are starting and kind of green, I always like to try to leave some trinkets. For me, it was go with your gut, right? If you
Yes.
don't have a sense yet, go with your gut because as our peer Richard Viale was saying, like the more you do work, you're gonna be able to see a scheme and a scam from a mile away. You're gonna be like, you
Right.
don't even have a press kit, you don't have a demo, you don't have a reel. How are you like coming to me as a professional? And you don't have all these things and requesting money, right? You don't have anybody who can vouch for you. You don't have any
Yeah.
professional references.
Yeah.
But I think for women, we kind of are taught to be nice, right? That's part of the image. And so when you're talking business and deals, nice might have to be a part of it but not the main. So what, if
Yeah.
any, advice you can give
So,
as a dad of three girls who may also want to be artists, right?
right. So for me, I always say make sure you ask as many questions as possible. And if you don't understand a certain thing, do not stop asking that question. Don't move on to the next thing until you understand that thing. So you're gonna find people like what you just now said. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of this, and that, whatever the case. Sure, I can take care of something, but I need to make sure you understand what I'm taking care of, what this is. So keep asking the questions so that you can know for sure what's happening or what you're entrusting someone to do for you, right? Because you can't just say, yeah, that person handles this thing for me, but you don't even know what it is exactly that they're handling. You should know so that you can even keep your eyes closed and you know that that thing is being done or you know how it's supposed to go. So when somebody else comes around to you and tell you something else out of the ordinary, you know it's out of the ordinary because you already know the way it's supposed to go, right? And then as far as a female being in this industry, we're still in that period where there are a lot more women coming out and being more vocal and doing more things and being in higher positions and stuff. So that whole men rule everything is slowly being broken down because there are some really cool women that really know their stuff, right? And all they're lacking is really just the opportunity or for a lot of the olden ways of things being done to be cast aside so that you can be in a position to be able to own your own and not just have a man be the person that's doing that, right? So we're getting to the point of where we're breaking that type of stuff down. But yes, you're still going to fall into, those positions of where some men are going to want to prey on it being a woman that's dealing with this thing and just their way of saying, oh, a woman just doesn't know or you're lesser than, you know what I mean? So until women really start getting out there and showing and proving, or just showing out or creating their own and saying, oh, you don't want to let me in because I'm a woman. All right, I'm gonna create my own thing like that. And I'm gonna have the ambition to take it further than what you have going on because I was trying to do this with you and you didn't want to let me do it with you. So now I'm gonna go over here, and then it's just your whole thing is just gonna become an afterthought because everyone's gonna want to be on this side of things. You know what I mean? So I would always say to them, just keep pushing in what they're doing. Don't be afraid to ask questions, man. Never be afraid to ask questions. And if you know that you're a woman that you don't want to put out to learn a thing, don't be a woman that puts out to learn a thing. And if you feel like you're in a situation where they're making you feel like you have to put out, leave from that situation.
You're
That
never
that
stuck. You're never stuck. Even when it
you're
feels
never
like
stuck.
you're
That is,
trapped, even when it
man,
feels like you're trapped,
let me tell you something. Too many times I've seen people that are like, man, you're the only person that can help me. How? How am I the only person that can give you this last $100 that you need to pay your rent? How am I the only person? You know what I'm saying? So women too have to get to that point where they're like, nah, you're not the end all be all. If I can't get this thing done with this person, I can move on. But sometimes some people, not just women, some people would make it feel to themselves like, nah, if I don't get with this person or this thing, I'm a complete failure and nothing else can happen for me in life. That is really not true. And that's not the way that it goes. You know what I mean? And you're going to find yourself wasting a lot more time trying to convince this one person of a thing that they're not getting or they don't even care about when you could have been over here trying to create 5 other opportunities for yourself. But you have closed off all of that over there to just stick with this one thing that you're so determined that you have to have it this particular way. And that's just not the way that it goes. You know what I mean? And stop disregarding people that you know. You understand what I mean? You sometimes hey, you know what? I have access to Benny. I want to do this thing that Benny has been doing. Let me call Benny and ask his advice. But then you have some people who's just like, I'm not calling Benny. That's gonna make me look like I'm weak or small or little. I'm not calling. I'm gonna just figure it out on my own. And then you wasted 8 more years. When I
waste.
could have just told you something 8 years ago that you would have been like, oh man, if I had just reached out. So don't let pride kill you, whoever you are. You know what I'm saying? Man or woman, it doesn't matter. Don't let pride kill you. If you want to know something and you feel someone knows a thing, ask the question. If they're saying no, okay, cool. They don't want to give